good, everybody? It's your boy Jim, back again with another video, and today I'm joined here with
Joshua Tran.
What did you do and what did you play?
We're playing Branded Eld at the Salem Regional, and we made 15th place, top 16.
Hey, let's go. Do you have any shout-outs?
Yeah, shout out to the Yu-Gi-Oh crew at UW, Team Super Poly at Cal Poly, Team Saiyan, and the Bremerton boys for convincing me to play this abomination of a deck.
All right, let's get into the list.
All right. So we're playing Eldlich, and this is mostly an Eldlich deck with just a hint of spice. So we're starting off, we're playing 2 Golden Lords. We're not playing 3. The third, I feel, doesn't come up often enough, even though it is nice to discard. But we'll see it more often than not because we're playing the 3 Cursed Eldland. Performed pretty well. Every time I saw it, it was good. And I had a tendency to just rip it off the top in the grind game whenever it came up. Kept it on board about 50% of the time. Half of the time you just shotgun it for more advantage immediately on. In terms of the Eldlichers, we're playing the 3 Scarlet, 1 Black, and 1 White. Scarlet performs good as always. Black, solidly okay. We have 1 tech card in here for that. And White actually comes up more often than you'd expect because every time your Eldlich hits the grave, they're going to try and do something with it. So it's your backup plan. Worst case scenario, you send it off and it doesn't matter. For the Golden Lands, we're playing 3 Hakero and 3 Conquistador. We are not playing the Counter Trap. My thought on it is the Counter Trap makes good hands better, bad hands worse, doesn't get you into engine, and we want to see the engine as quickly as possible. Eldlich, as much as they talk about 1 card, it's really a 2-card combo, so you want to see as many copies as possible. And there are some games where you will burn through all 3 things just to get rid of it. For the branded package, we have 3 of the branded Fusion and 2 Albaz. This card does not say summon branded Fusion cards. Mm-hmm. It says bait Ash so the rest of your Eldlich pile can keep doing its thing. People were letting a bunch of other stuff resolve just for the threat of this card after they saw it game 1. Yeah. And that actually worked quite a bit to my favor, I'd say. Yeah. Albaz himself, pretty good. Just being able to super poly your opponent's board for something. It comes up, it can discard an Eldlich, or a Golden Land, and yeah. Your targets for Branded Fusion are the Eldlich and the Necroworld, Banshee, and Zombie World. Mm-hmm. This one actually deserves a bit of talk, specifically Zombie World. So what Zombie World will do is by turning everything into zombies in your grave, it means you can do somewhat more unorthodox plays, like using Sanguine to summon back Albaz to super poly on your opponent's turn during the end phase. The other thing you can do is it means that you can start recurring the Albaz fusions, and it also means that they are now zombies so that they can attack while under your Eldland still. Banshee, as a normal summon, poke for 18 has come up, and the quick effect float does mean it's pretty hard to get touched. Overall, you're not going to see this most matches, and we aren't playing the Aluber to search it. So it's a very small package, so we're still mostly playing Warcrime Eldlich. But this card shuts down very specific decks and combos, but it also plays extraordinarily nicely with the true Warcrime that we're playing, which is the 3 Rivalry of Warlords. Mm-hmm. The biggest problem with Warcrime Eld, I think, is that when you play the usual spread of like 3 Skill Drain, 3 Rivalry, and 3 Gozen, you can run into a deck like Flunder that can actually play around all 3. What you can't do is nobody can play around these 2 together. And so what we're going to do is we're just trying to flip up a silver bullet. This overperformed against Brave this weekend, and Despia too. Just everybody's playing pile decks, lots of different types, lots of attributes. Flip Rivalry, and it's all good. If you stick a Gozen, or if you stick a Zombie World afterwards, it's game over. And that was the entire game plan this weekend. Is we're digging deep, we want the combo, and it's gonna work. Yeah, so Prosperity, most of the time 3. If you have one of these, you go for 6. Or specifically, if you have either of these 2, you go for 6. And you just try to get the other side of the lock. But because I was playing Branded Fusion, nobody ashed Prosperity most of the time. I guess in keeping with the zombie world, we also have 3 Super Poly.
Turn everything to zombies.
Turns everything into zombies, and you Super Poly their board away. This was a tech because I expected a lot of Despia, a lot of Brandon. Overall, performed pretty well. Also cracked some boards I didn't expect to with it, but if it works, it works. Spell speed for nothing I can complain about. Discard a golden land, and you're off to the races. For the rest of the cards, we have 3 Torrential, 3 Strike, and 1 Called by the Grave. Torrential Strike can crack just about any board. There's very few things that you can do about it. Even if they have a mirrorjade, half the time I was proccing my opponent's mirrorjade just so that they could wipe my board, so that I could keep things in rotation. Because with Rivalry, it's a little more difficult to actually clear your own board for the Eldlich package. Called by the Grave keeps you from getting hand trapped. 42 cards in the main deck.
Okay.
I couldn't figure out what I wanted to shift, and I like playing 3-ofs.
Gotcha.
For the extra, we're playing for the Albaz package. We have 2 Mirrorjade, 2 Albion, 2 Lubellion. Lubellion did come up quite a bit, just being a light attribute as well. I got Gozened at least once, and it wasn't a problem because I had that to go access to. Generally, it's a push for game if you have it, or otherwise just send the Banshee and keep going from there. Mirrorjade's nice.
Yeah.
It does a few things. If you get it, you win. If not, you bait it in Ash.
Yeah. Did you ever solve the end phase effect where it pops your opponent's board?
Maybe for 1 monster.
Oh, got you.
Yeah. The most dirty thing is if you take these fusions and then you use Sanguine to reborn them back, and you just keep attacking with them. For the Eldlich cards specifically, 2 Link Spider. One of these was usually a Prosperity target, and the Constellar Pallades and the Gustav Max. Gustav Max came up for time once, and the Pallades didn't really see the board this weekend, but you don't expect it to. And then
It's good to have those, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
The rest of the targets, we have 1 Muddy Mud Dragon, or Mud Dragon Swamp, 1 Dragostapelia, 1 Drago Necro Nether Soul Dragon. This is for the zombie world, and it can super poly anything. And the 1 Gilta Gearfried.
Oh my goodness.
This was here specifically to crack Baron plus DPE. Didn't see it at all this weekend, and I really wish I had played either the Starving Venom or or honestly Eldlich the Mad Golden Lord, because that came up at least twice.
Yeah.
I could have polyed for it. And the final cards of Verte. Get you Branded Fusion, get you Super Poly, just whatever comes up.
Yeah.
Dragostapelia put in a lot of work because random decks were just ending on DPE when they had no business to, and so that came up. Mud Dragon to the Swamp came up quite a few times in the Prank Kid matchup.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah,
where they would
sense.
leave like a Fansies or I think a Doodle Doo, and then the Griffin Rider. So you just turn off that side of the engine, and that's
pretty
basically
good.
a wrap. For the side deck, we're playing the Control Tax, which is 3 Solemn Judgment. It comes in game 2, it goes out game 3 because we're hitting time all too much. Speaking of hitting time, we have the 3 Lava Golems. We're not playing the Sphere modes, so it just didn't have the space. And, well, I say that, but we'll see.
You felt like this was better?
Yeah, so my thought on this is that most of the boards that Sphere mode cracks are also cracked at the same time by Lava Golem. So it's a question of how much do you want to see a board breaker, but at the same time, this main deck is built well enough for going second with things like Torrential Strike, the Floodgates, where you can actually crack a board going second.
Yeah.
You don't even need to crack it. You just need to soften it up where you can mount them, and then you just win from there because you have a better advantage engine. The 3, there can be only 1. This is the exact same thing as Rivalry. You just pick whichever one is good enough at that particular point in time. Specifically, though, it interacts in the same way with Zombie World, where these 2 on board, your opponent can't put anything on board.
Right. So if this was already on board and then you activate this later, they're forced to basically clear out their
everything's
own.
zombies.
Yeah.
And if they put another card on board, it's now a zombie.
Yeah,
so
they have to clear it,
Yeah. So we didn't really board out of the Zombie World package at all this weekend, despite the fact that Zombie World itself wasn't always putting in the work. But it comes up often enough where you can do cheeky plays.
Right, yeah. It pairs with a lot of cards really well.
The 3 Anti-Spell Fragrance, Imperial Order is banned. So this is the next best thing. It really does soften up the pile decks, the Brave Engines, even the Branded. It makes them play at least a turn slower. Sometimes it stops them, sometimes it doesn't. I'm looking for something that tells them to not play instead of something that slows them down, but a bit more tooling might be necessary there. And then the last card is the 3 Defusions.
How was this for you?
Solidly okay. I thought it was going to be spicier than it ended up being. I was thoroughly expecting to get super polyed more than I did. And so this was a bit of a hedge against that. It cracks out against DPEs pretty well. And then there's also some cheeky plays that you can do with your own super poly, where you'll attack with a couple of monsters, super poly them into something, defusion them, and attack again for a big damage push. But you have to get both of them at the same time. So other than that, most of the time, I didn't have a time when I saw it and it was dead, because you only put it up in the matchups where it's good. But it could be a little bit better. I'm thinking of non-fusion areas for the last one, just because that hard shuts everything down.
Oh yeah, that card is crazy. Yeah.
So yeah, and that's the list.
Alrighty, bro. Hey, thank you for sharing. Congrats on your top. Any final thoughts?
Play more purple cards.
Play more purple cards. Alright. Hey, everybody out there, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you. Peace.
Take care, man.